Hey there everyone, welcome to Violet's Dream Tarot. Big welcome if you're new, because I think a lot of you will probably be new viewers today, so welcome in, get comfy. Welcome back if you're not. I'm feeling quite cozy today because it's raining outside and it's pretty windy outside as well, so I'm just enjoying relaxing with some tarot. So I'm super excited for today's reading for a number of reasons. Firstly, it is a collaboration with White Rose Guidance, which is so exciting. She is a lovely person and her readings are amazing. So I will link her video in the description box as well, and also in the comments section where I put the timestamps. So basically we want you to watch both videos because we want to see if the piles you choose in both videos match up with the messages you get. So this is why are you so amazing? What makes you so amazing? And another reason why I'm excited for this video is because I'm using a spread. I don't normally use spreads in my YouTube videos. I don't think I've ever done that. I only sometimes do that for private readings because I like it to be kind of freestyle, but this is super exciting. So I've pre-shuffled some oracle cards for each pile and I haven't looked at them yet, so you know, I'll be seeing them for the first time when you do. We'll also have charms and dice as well, so especially if you're new to my channel, stick around to get your full reading because it's not just cards that we use here. And hello to my little gnomes at the back as well. They are always here watching over the reading. And I want to say a big thank you to my patrons as well on Patreon. Thank you so much to all of you, especially Ashley, Kat, Alexandra and Alex. Thank you so much for your support. It's really so important to me. So thank you for always being there for me. And I'm going to show you the piles now. So what I've done is I'm just going to have you pick a set of tarot cards, which again I don't normally do, but pile 1, we've got this lapis lazuli and it is the Ramses Tarot of Eternity. Pile 2 is the Angel Tarot with this Chinese writing stone. Pile 3 is this garnet and it's the Happy Tarot. Pile 4 is blue goldstone and it's Tarot of the Gnomes. Very important to my channel. And pile 5 is Tarot Dobra, so it's the good tarot, but it's the Czech edition. And we've got this tektite as well, this piece of glass that rained down from space, which is super cool. So take as much time as you need. It's also totally fine to pick more than one pile and you can pause the video if you need to. I would say go by intuition, so wherever you're feeling kind of intuitively pulled, not just by sight or by your favorite deck, just kind of, you know, whichever deck you can't stop looking at or which crystal you're feeling particularly drawn to, that is going to be more accurate for you. So take as much time as you need. Big thank you to everyone as well, not just who supported me on Patreon, but everyone who has donated via my PayPal link, which is in the description box. Thank you so much. It is so kind of you to everyone who's done that. And if anyone's interested in private readings, I have an Etsy page and the link to that is in the description box. If you're going to book a reading, please leave me your name, your email address and your question, and also the names of anyone else involved. So if it's like a love reading and you have someone in mind, just leave me their name as well, because that's how I connect to their energies in a private reading. Also have an Amazon wish list as well for anyone who is feeling really generous and would like to look at getting me a new deck for the channel. Thank you so much to She's Lorny for sending me the Happy Tarot. That's so kind of you. And I'm just super excited for this reading. So also really excited to see what White Rose Guidance's video is like and if it matches up for you all. Please do leave comments because I'm so interested to know. And I'm going to get started with pile number 1. Okay, pile 1. So if you chose the lapis lazuli and Ramses Tarot of Eternity, this Egyptian themed tarot, then this is your reading. So as I said, we're going to do tarot first and I'm going to shuffle on camera, which is something I don't think I've done before on YouTube. I've definitely done it on my Patreon page, but I just think people prefer a quicker reading on YouTube, but maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments. So we have got some pre-shuffled oracle cards, and as I said, if you're new, we also do charms and dice as well. So let's get ready with this spread. So pile 1, everyone who picked this pile, group 1, what makes you so amazing? Okay, so I'm gonna lay it out on the spread. I've got a picture of the spread next to me. Okay, great. So we've got the exact number of cards that I wanted, which is lovely. So the first card is Why Are You So Amazing? And we've got the 10 of Swords here, and I love how graphic this is in this deck. So basically, I think one of your biggest traits is that you are able to pull yourself up from the depths of despair. Like when you feel you've hit rock bottom, and when you've, like, I honestly feel, pile one, that you've maybe gone through things that are more intense or more kind of upsetting than is normal for a lot of people. Like I think in your group of friends, you've probably been through the most or nearly the most so far in life, and I feel like one of the things that makes you so amazing and that people admire about you is that you're able to just pull yourself up. And I'm not saying that you do that straight away. Obviously everyone takes different amounts of time to get over things and to kind of get their confidence back and their strength back after a situation, but it feels like you really are able to pull yourself out of depression. I think a lot of you have had difficulties with depression and mental health issues. You're able to pull yourself back from rejection and from difficult experiences in jobs, in love, with family. Maybe some of you didn't have the best childhood or upbringing. Maybe you were bullied as well. Just you've overcome a lot of obstacles, and that is really incredible how resilient you are. So then this card is What is a Past Accomplishment? And so we've got the King of Wands here. So definitely I think at some point in the past you have been able to visualize the life you want and started to go after it. Because when I think of the King of Wands, I think of someone who is a visionary and who is able to manifest through their own kind of force of will and the force of their power. And what I love in the background of this King of Wands is there are these wheat sheaves, which makes me think of abundance and fertility, and then also this little monkey here. So maybe some of you have children as well, and that is something that you're really proud of and something that is a big achievement for you, that you've been able to have these children and raise them and just make them into wonderful people. But definitely there's an element here of visualization and manifestation, and also kind of eloquence with the King of Wands. I think you've been able to talk yourself round sometimes, like, you know, talk yourself into feeling better or talk yourself into going to work when you just want to roll up in bed and forget about the world, or you've managed to talk yourself into going into a stressful situation knowing it's going to be triggering, but just getting through it. And that is really, really admirable. So this card is What Do You Bring to Others? And we've got the Four of Swords here. So I think you're quite a thoughtful person, and I think you're a good listener as well. When I get this card, I think of someone who kind of knows when to remain silent and who doesn't overstep boundaries, who is just kind of there being supportive and able to listen to people. Maybe your personality type is INFJ. Like I think a lot of you are good at just listening to people's problems or listening to people's situations, and even if you're not able to help in like a practical sense, like for example if they've got money worries and you're not able to help them, or you wouldn't feel comfortable helping them with that practically, you're still able to just give them support and to be that listening ear, which I think a lot of people just want that. Like a lot of people just want to feel validated and they want to feel heard, and you're able to provide that. And also a deep thinker as well. Like maybe some of you are a bit philosophical, maybe some of you have these kind of big deep ideas sometimes, and like, you know, there's conversations where you go on to 3 a.m. just talking about something really deep, and people are like, oh my goodness, how do you come up with these ideas? So then number 4 is What are your skills and talents? And we've got the Wheel of Fortune. So this is interesting. I think you've picked up a lot of skills and talents from previous lifetimes. I think also you're kind of in this cyclical experience in life. I think you keep going through these micro transformations, and although you're still definitely the same person, like I think sometimes you look back and you think, I'm so different to who I was a year ago or 2 years ago. But then you still really identify with how you were as a kid. Like I kind of feel like this way as well. I think if I went back in time and met myself when I was a kid, I would not kind of recognize myself in many ways, but I still, because I have those memories, I still really identify with that experience. So I think in many ways you've gone through a lot of transformations. maybe in some ways you are more blessed than you like to think, or maybe sometimes you have been more lucky than you're aware of, because the Wheel of Fortune kind of says things working out in your favor even if you're not consciously aware of it. And also I think you have a lot of protection from the divine as well. I think you have a very strong spiritual team and you are being watched over. And I see that a lot as well with people who've been through really difficult situations in life, who have kind of a hard life, for want of a better phrase. They have more support and protection around them because they need it more. So they need, you know, if they're going through a lot of transformation in this lifetime, if that's why they're here in this life, then they need that support from spirit. So I think you definitely got a very strong spiritual team. Then number 5 is, why do you feel down about yourself? And we've got the 8 of Cups. So there's a sense of boredom here and kind of emotional overwhelm, like a draining feeling here. And especially this woman's face. I can't get over this woman's face whenever I pull this card. Like, look at her face. She is just so bored with this game. She has probably played this chess game like 10 times already, and she looks like she's waiting for something. So I wonder if you have maybe felt like the boat has passed you at some point in life. You feel like other people have been able to achieve like wonderful careers, or, you know, they've got an amazing body, or they look on their social media like they're just living an amazing life, and you just feel like, why didn't I get that? Why have these people got the secret and I don't? And maybe you're not aware of all the achievements and all of the blessings that you do actually have in your life, because I think you take your resilience and the experiences that you've had that have been formative for you for granted in many ways. I think you just expect yourself to pull through and you expect yourself to be strong, and so you don't kind of value that in yourself. But I think definitely you should. I think you almost are kind of a bit meh about your life. I think you're like, well, you know, other people have done this and that, and I'm this age and I haven't even done this. And that's just not the case. You've been through so much spiritually, and you've been through so much in like a transformational way that other people haven't. And just remember as well, when you meet up with people that you haven't seen for years and have like a catch up, of course they're going to tell you all of the good things. Of course they're going to tell you the highlights of their life. And when you're on social media, people are only showing you what is good about their life. They're not going to show you them crying at 3 a.m. and eating ice cream because someone said something awful to them, or because someone just broke up with them. Like, they're going to show you them after a workout, or them on the beach, like, you know, looking great. And so just remember that everyone is filtering what they're showing you, and that you don't need to feel bored or like you're not achieving anything or getting anywhere in life. Don't give up with what you're doing. And so your last card is, how should you practice love? And we've got the 2 of Pentacles. And so yeah, this really fits in with the kind of energy I'm getting here, pile number 1. You take on too much. And maybe this is just at work for some of you. Maybe it is also in friends and family. Like, you take on other people's worries and you take on other people's problems. And my grandma is one of these people. Like, she will just worry for other people, and it can make her really ill sometimes. You know, she's just a genuinely nice person. She cares about other people, but she can't stop worrying. And if anything even slightly goes wrong, she can't get it out of her mind, and she's just worrying on behalf of like the whole town. And it's not healthy for you. So I think that you do take on too much. You put too much pressure on yourself, definitely, to achieve or to be, you know, justified in some way. You're too harsh on yourself. And so just cutting yourself some slack and also seeing life in a more playful way will be helpful for you, because 2 of Pentacles is also about being kind of ground down, being crushed a little bit by the mundane daily stuff of life. And so just learning to balance that and see things in a lighter way. Allow yourself to laugh, allow yourself to just do little things that might seem like a waste of time, but if they make you feel good, then they're not, are they? You know, even if it's childish things like watching cartoons or playing games, you know, these childish things, just do those things that make you happy, genuinely, and don't worry about what other people will think, or don't worry about you wasting time when you could be being productive, because I think you put too much pressure on yourself. So I'm going to get your oracle cards now that I've pre-shuffled and haven't looked at, and then we will get your charms and your dice. So I'm interested actually to see if these cards kind of back me up. So in a child card, I will link all of my decks in the description box, as I always do, if you're interested in any of them. So this is Ace of Swords. Okay, so it's also Arthur pulling the sword out of the stone. So I'm seeing a couple of things here. Firstly, I'm seeing kind of clarity of thought. You see through people quite easily, I think, if people are being not truthful or if people are kind of superficially charming. I think you see through that. Also, I think you're quite a clear communicator. So I said that when people are, you know, spilling their heart out to you, you're not necessarily talking over them or anything. I think you're quite a good listener, but I think you're also someone who is good at getting their point across, and maybe good as a mediator as well. Like between two people, you're able to find some common ground and help them to get over their differences. I'm also seeing chivalry here as well. You're someone who takes your word very seriously and you want to stick to what you've said. So if you promise someone something, you feel like you have to fulfill it. And equally, if you've told yourself that you're not going to do something, then you're also going to stick to that. And another thing that I get from this card is being the chosen one. Like in some way you are chosen, you have been chosen to experience this lifetime because it's going to bring you some kind of deep lesson and deep meaning and understanding. So that's a really beautiful card. Let's see what else we get. The Light Princess, Ungrounded. That's interesting because you got quite a few swords cards here, and so I wonder if you have a lot of air in your chart, like Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, but also I'm feeling like air elementals as well. So for those of you who are kind of regulars in my shop, you'll know that I have quite a few elemental readings because I'm really into that. And so air elementals are like wind spirits, but also certain types of fairies. So if you feel really close to the element of air and to those beings, then this is just being validated there. But also ungrounded, I feel like you're a light worker. And I feel like sometimes you get so lost in helping other people that you can forget to think about yourself. So that's very important as well. It's coming out as like a little thing to think about and a healing message. You are a light worker. You do lots of beautiful work on this planet, and you have helped a lot of people. Even if you're not aware of it, your words or your actions have been very helpful and comforting to people. But remember to take care of yourself, because I think you're very harsh on yourself. So we've got View from Above, another kind of air card. Get the big picture. This is interesting as well. So I feel like this lifetime has an important part to play in like a series of lifetimes. Like I think this is kind of the culmination of a certain string of lifetimes that you've had. And maybe that's why you've been through such a difficult time here, because this is like the fiery climax. This is ending one cycle and beginning a new one. So also get the big picture. I feel like you have a good sense of balance and perspective as well. Like I think maybe that's one of the things that helps you in being resilient, is that you're able to think, well, I've got through worse, or well, yeah, but other people have suffered a lot more than I have. And it helps you to pull yourself out of a situation so that you're not wallowing and you're not getting lost in that grief or that sadness. And that's really valuable. Not getting lost in a certain situation is really important. Okay, so then we've got these keys all trying to get into one lock. And so this is not an oracle card. I just use these. They're from a game, and so there's no kind of way to interpret them apart from the way that I do it. So I see competitiveness when I see this card, but again, I also feel like the chosen one, because only one of these keys is going to fit that lock, and that's you. So that's interesting. And again, it's got that airy feeling to it, but again, I feel like competitiveness in some way. Maybe you really do want to come out on top, or maybe you do want to have like a certain recognition in life, and you have that drive and that power pushing yourself forward. Maybe if you're not an air sign, you have perhaps Capricorn in your chart pretty strongly, or Leo or Aries, because that's coming through now when I'm seeing that. This drive, this ambition. Got Come to the Edge, number 36. So this feeling of temptation, of being pulled in a certain way. I think you have a lot more kind of charisma than you're maybe aware of, and I feel like a lot of people are really interested in you. They want to follow you, and that's coming through with the King of Wands as well, that you are able to convince people of what you're doing, and so maybe they want to follow you because you're very good at wording things. Like with the Ace of Swords, you're a good communicator, you're quite eloquent. Maybe it's just your overall enthusiasm makes them want to follow you. We've got Glubinier, in the depths, in the deep. and 8 of crosses. And again, there's no guidebook for this, but this is actually an oracle deck. And this is saying, like, again, you're a deep thinker. You come up with some kind of really, really deep ideas. But I think also this is referring to emotions. Like, maybe you don't seem to be necessarily a deeply feeling person because you try to hide that for whatever reason. Maybe you just don't want other people to worry about you, or you just don't want other people to think of you in that way. But I think maybe sometimes people say things and it cuts you quite deeply, but also you have this depth of love and this depth of care to give as well. So that's also a beautiful blessing. Then we have teach, inspire others and let nature be your greatest teacher. So you do inspire others. You are a role model for other people, which is really beautiful. Maybe some of you are teachers, either in your work or like a part-time kind of thing. And we have požádej a bude ti dáno. So ask and you shall receive. So again, I'm feeling you have a strong connection to the angelic realm, to the spirit realm. Maybe you have a strong faith as well. And this is just saying you're really surrounded, and as much as it might seem sometimes like you have been abandoned or like you're not getting anywhere, just know that you are surrounded and you are loved and protected and cared for. So I'm going to do your charms now, group 1. And if you're wearing headphones or if you have the volume up loud, I would recommend maybe turning it down a little bit, because these can be a little loud because most of them are metal. So, group 1, what makes you so amazing? Okay, so we'll do these and then we'll look at your dice as well. So we've got a couple of zodiac signs coming out. We've got Capricorn. So like I said, I was feeling Capricorn energy pretty strongly. Aquarius as well, so that air energy coming through. And down here we've got imaginative, which is Cancer energy. So you may also have Cancer, but you're definitely an imaginative person. Definitely someone who can come up with like lots of stories or kind of fantasy worlds and ideas. We've also got some letters. So F and Z are coming out as initials, and that might be important to you as a first name or a surname. It might be a place or a quality that you have. Maybe just a random word is going to come to you, but don't worry if it doesn't. That also kind of looks like an N now, so you might want to take that as well. So we've also got Father Christmas, which is a sign of winter for me, and the Christmas tree. So I have a few charms that mean certain times of the year. So winter is important. Maybe that's when you were born. Maybe that's your favorite season. But also when I think of winter, I think of like the tough times. So again, getting through those tough times. We've got the ice skate. So you may be a skater, roller skater or ice skater. But for me, that charm is reminding me of the phrase skating on thin ice. So when things start going well for you, you start wondering what the catch is and when something is going to go horribly wrong. So there's kind of like this feeling of balance and learning to have kind of everything going well at the same time. Got the notification bell, which is about something trying to get your attention. So I think that you are quite striking in some way. Like there is something about you that draws people to you, which is interesting. Also got the jade ball, which is my luck and finances ball. So there's positive omen there for finances, abundance, career, and also, like I said, luck. I think you're luckier than you realize. Got the haunted house as well. So yeah, I feel like you are comparing yourself to actions that you did in the past, perhaps, because that's coming up on the 8 of Cups, which is about why you feel down. Something in the past still holding on to you. And maybe this is a past life issue. Maybe it's just something from childhood or from even, last year. It doesn't have to be very far in the past, but it's like something is getting you down and you need to just free yourself of that. And if you can, try and laugh it off a little bit. Try and see the humorous side of it. And we've got the skeleton as well. So the skeleton in the closet, something still that you're carrying around with you that you could deal with releasing. So we've got the sheath there as well. Yeah, you're definitely someone who kind of hides your true feelings or your true thoughts sometimes just because you don't want to alarm anyone or you don't want anyone to worry. You really don't want to burden other people with your problems, and that's such a cute admirable quality, but do just remember to open up sometimes and to let other people in. You don't have to go through all of this stuff on your own. We've got hope as well. Definitely someone who is able to be optimistic even when things are difficult. Blossoming as well, beautiful, transformational energy. We've got the dragonfly, which again is a good luck symbol for me, and the love heart. Got a lot of love to give, a lot of love inside of you. The bird house, and a bird is another air symbol. So this is about finding your community and enjoying being surrounded by people, either because they support you or because you can support them. And we have the passport as well, so maybe some kind of foreign aspect here. Maybe some of you have lived in other countries, maybe you are from 2 different cultures, or you speak another language, or you're just interested in something, like really interested in something that's from another country, like, you know, K-pop, or I don't know, just foreign music or dramas or fashion or whatever. There's some real tie to another country there, which is interesting. I think a lot of you are bilingual, or you're trying to be, like you're learning another language. And we have the party hat here, so you also have a lot to celebrate, which is interesting. It feels like highs and lows in your life. Like, I think you've got a lot of blessings that maybe you're aware of or maybe you overlook, but at the same time there are some real low points that you've really wonderfully pulled yourself out of. Steering wheel as well, changing tide, lots of changes in your life, and also not just in the world around you, but in you as well. Like I said, I feel like you've gone through a lot of transformation. And then my beautiful little bell is saying good news, things to celebrate in your life, things, positive things coming in as well, which is really, really lovely. And I think you have more of an optimistic energy than you maybe give yourself credit for. So now I'm going to put your dice on top. So firstly, what I do is I roll the 6-sided dice to see which set we're going to use. And so it's number 2, because I have a few different sets. So those are my original dice. And then I roll this one to see how many of these dice we're going to roll, because I don't want to roll all of them in case they don't all have a meaning for you. Okay, so we're rolling 7 of these. Okay. So, why is pile 1 so amazing? What makes group 1 such an amazing person? Okay. Just take a look at this. And it's interesting because we've got the aeroplane there. So there is some connection to travel or to other countries there, and also the pyramid right in the center, and you chose the Egyptian deck. So that's really interesting as well. So maybe you have a big interest in Egypt or in kind of magic, because the pyramid, I think of magic and I think of the occult, the arcane. Maybe you've had a previous lifetime in Egypt as well. Got the book as well, so maybe you're a big reader. I also kind of feel like knowledgeable, curious person who always wants to learn more. You're always interested in learning more about a topic. And also with this magnifying glass as well, I feel like you're the kind of person where if you hear a word that you haven't heard before, or if you like something catches your attention, you kind of immediately have to Google it to figure out what it is, because you can't just let it lie. Like, you've got to find out about it. And this is so interesting. So here with the keys, I'm going to lift it up, with the keys trying to fit into the lock. We've got the lock, which is so, so interesting. So again, I just feel like that means you are the person who's the right fit here. You are like this chosen person for whatever reason, which is really interesting. But also when I get the lock, I think of like mystery, like there's something mysterious about you. You're not 100% open with people. You're kind of closed off in some way that gives you this mysterious energy. Got the learner plate as well, so you are learning something. You maybe you're not kind of formally educated, because that's not everyone has the opportunity to do that, but you are someone who is just constantly learning, constantly wanting to learn more about life. And lastly, this clock. So that's interesting as well. It makes me think of like, you know, what is the right time to be quiet and what is the right time to speak up. Like, you have quite a good sense of reading the room and kind of understanding what is appropriate and what isn't. So I really hope you've enjoyed this reading. This is so interesting, and I would love to hear in the comments if you've already watched White Rose's video, how it resonated. If you haven't, please do go and check her video as well. As I said, I'll put the link in the description, but let me know if this resonated with you. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps my channel, and if you think one of your friends would enjoy this, please consider sharing it with them. If you have any interest in the decks that I use, as I said, I link them in the description box, and I've got loads of links in there as well, like my Etsy page if you want a private reading, and also ways for you to support the channel. So I would really love it if you would check that out, but don't feel pressured to. It's completely only if you want to. And have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye. Hey there everyone who picked pile 2 with the Chinese Writing Stone and Angel Tarot. This is your reading. So like I said, we'll start with tarot, and I've pre-shuffled some oracle cards which I haven't looked at, and then we will do charms and dice, so stick around so you get your full reading. Okay, so what makes pile 2 so amazing, everyone who chose pile 2? Try and keep it in the format. This is one of the reasons why I don't do spreads, because I always end up putting it in the wrong place. Okay. So I have like a picture of the spread in front of me to remind me. Okay, so pile 1, why are you so amazing? Well, we've got the 6 of air, and this is interesting because it's kind of similar to what was in pile 1, but less intense. So this is just saying that you are able to pick yourself up from difficult situations. You are a very optimistic person, even if you don't realize it. Like, you're always able to frame things so that it seems like you're going to be able to work things out, and that you're going to be able to get over this situation. So that's a really nice card that's saying that you are, you know, able to pull yourself away from those difficult situations, able to come back from depression and maybe other mental health conditions, able to pull yourself back from rejection and from very difficult situations in love and friendships and career. Maybe you've been bullied as a child or didn't have the best upbringing, and you've just been determined to kind of make your life better as a result of that. So that's interesting that we've got a synchronicity there with pile 1. So what is a past accomplishment? Well, we've got the sun, and this is so beautiful, you know, choosing to make yourself happy and finding your happiness and your confidence as well. I feel like a lot of you were maybe kind of shy and timid when you were younger, and more of a people pleaser, and kind of the older you've gotten, the more confident you've grown, and the more independent as well, and just able to assert yourself more. You might not still be 100% where you want to be, but definitely you should be proud of the leaps and bounds that you've made in your own confidence and in your own self-esteem and sticking up for yourself. And this is just a beautiful card. I'm so happy that you've got it, because it's such a lovely, warm feeling. And maybe also you are the instigator of your own success. I don't feel like life has thrown you an easy option in this lifetime. I think that you've had quite a tough time, especially in the beginning. And I feel like things haven't happened to you. Like, you've had to fight to get to where you are right now, and you should be so proud of that, because the good things that you've achieved have been as a result of your own willpower and your own hard work and your own determination. So that's really beautiful. I think some of you also have Leo and Aries energy, and we've got the King of Fire here as well, which is also interesting because that was in group 1, although not in this position. So this is, what do you bring to others? So you are able to lift other people's spirits, essentially. You are able to motivate people. If someone is feeling down, you're able to kind of say, no, come on, you can do this. Like, you've done all of this stuff before, you can definitely get over this situation. It's like you pass on that resolve that you use to encourage yourself to do things. You're able to pass it on to others as well, which is really important. And I think you've got a lot of charisma as well. Like, when I get this card, I kind of think of someone who is quite attractive, you know, in in a passionate way, and who's also quite ambitious. Like, I think you have an idea of what you want your life to look like, and maybe you're good at manifesting that. And as I said, you might not be exactly where you want to be right now, but you're definitely getting there. So it's through your own hard work and your own ambition that's pushing you forward. And I think people look up to you, honestly. Like, I think people see you as a very creative force and someone who's kind of like, you know, a good example. Like when people say, oh, but I'm disadvantaged, there's no way that I could ever do that. And people would say, well, look at the hardships that this person faced and look at how well they're doing. And so I think that they kind of use you as an example of, look, you can have things that you want. You can come back from this. You don't have to be, you know, just stuck in the past or wallowing in those situations. You're able to kind of climb up the ladder and have a better life for yourself. So number 4, what are your skills and talents? And so we've got the Dreamer, which is the Fool card. I like it. We've got 2 major arcanas already. So this is saying that you are able to not take life too seriously. Basically, you're able to brush things off. You're able to just go after your own happiness and take a leap of faith. I think a lot of you have faith, whether that is in a god that is clearly defined in your mind, or whether it is just something more mysterious, or just kind of the universe in general. You have faith that if you leap, you will be caught. And that's a beautiful, beautiful way of looking at the world. And also I think you're open to change as well. I think you're not someone who necessarily wants to keep on clinging to the same place or the same situation. I think you're someone who's open to things changing, even if it's uncomfortable. You know, the transitional period when everything is changing can be uncomfortable, even if it's a positive change, because you don't really know exactly how everything's going to work out. But I think you're open to that, and you're someone who's like, come on, I'll prove myself if you just give me this opportunity. So that's a really nice energy, that happy Fool energy. Wow, another major arcana. Okay, so why do you feel down about yourself? And we've got the Lovers. So maybe you would really like to be in a romantic relationship and that's just not happening for you. Maybe you have been through a string of relationships that just weren't right for you for whatever reason, and you just kind of feel like you're running out of time, or you're just not getting the level of love that you want. Like maybe it's too superficial, or maybe it's great at first and then it fizzles out, or you know, they're just not always there for you when you need them. And so I think there are love issues here. I think you've done really well in your own self, and particularly in career and kind of creativity as well. I think you need to be really proud of yourself, but it feels like you feel down because maybe you're not in the relationship that you would want, or that you would have hoped to have had by this point in your life. Or maybe also this is to do with physical appearance and health. Maybe you feel like, you know, you're not physically as attractive as you wish you were, or you're not as attractive as you used to be when you were younger. But I am getting with the King of Fire this very strong attractive energy, and just know that in my opinion, beauty and attractiveness are 2 different things. Like I think you can be very attractive and kind of magnetic and striking without being conventionally beautiful, and I think equally you can be a very beautiful person and have like 0 personality, and it really just kind of dampens your good looks. So let's look at your last card. How should you practice love? And we've got 2 of water. Okay, this is nice. I think that you will find the love that you're hoping for, but I think that you also need to be more gentle on yourself. Like with this card, it's strongly a card of forgiveness for me, and not thinking so harshly about yourself, not kind of berating yourself for not getting to the position that you'd hope to be right now. But I think also opening up to people, like talking to your friends about how you feel. There seems to be one person in your life who's particularly quite important to you. So whether that's a friend or a family member, or maybe you are dating someone, or it's like a past connection, there is someone there who is very important to you, who seems like they will listen. So I feel like you've done a lot when it comes to internal stuff. I feel like you have worked a lot on yourself in this lifetime internally, and this is just saying about opening up more. Don't worry, don't be afraid to make yourself vulnerable, because I feel like that's maybe something you're afraid of, that if you kind of show who you really are and what you truly feel, that people will think less of you or maybe use it against you. And I don't think that's the case. I think you have people around you who genuinely care and also admire you. So let's look at your oracle cards, which, as I said, I haven't looked at yet. So let's see if they back me up. So we've got Guide of Wands, which is the Queen of Wands in this deck, and it's the Pied Piper of Hamelin. So definitely there is this strong creative energy, there is this strong seductive, attractive energy there as well. You see the people who are just following him just because of the tune he's piping. Maybe you're a very kind of eloquent, sophisticated speaker. Maybe you just have this kind of mysterious charisma about you. If you're not someone who talks a lot, maybe that intrigues a lot of people. And what I love is right at the top there, we've got that butterfly, that symbol of transformation and, you know, overcoming the difficult situations. We've got fairies here as well, sheep, little bunny, and the caterpillars up the side as well. Really, really cute. So it's nice that we've got the King and the Queen of Wands. So then we've got the Princess and the Pea, sensitivity. Yeah, so I think you do kind of try and shield your heart or protect your feelings for some reason. Feeling some of you have quite strong Cancer energy or other water signs, but I'm getting Cancer quite strongly here. And it's great that you feel so deeply. I mean, that means that you're a very empathetic, caring, compassionate person. But it's like you just don't want to share that because you're worried that people will use it against you or that people will hurt you for whatever reason. Maybe you're also someone who cries at sad movies, because that's kind of what I'm getting this sense of here, that she's watching something sad tucked up in bed and it's like, oh, so sad. So then we've got overcoming obstacles. You can overcome anything. So what I was just saying about, you know, you're able to pull yourself up from difficult situations and overcome stuff that maybe other people wouldn't be able to. And actually it's just, let me get it back because it's just caught my eye. You might want to watch pile 1 as well, because pile 1 had the Sword in the Stone as one of their cards, their inner child card, and you've got this imagery here as well. And I think I don't have any other decks that have this kind of imagery on it. So really interesting that you've got these repeated messages. So then here your Dixit card. These aren't oracle cards, they're from a game, so there's no guidebook or anything as to how to interpret them. But this to me is saying that you are between worlds in some way, or that you have left one way of life behind or one way of thinking behind in order to become something better. And this is very much that Fool energy. Look at it, like, you know, the Fool is often shown with one foot dangling off a cliff and he's going to jump and he's blindfolded and he just knows that he'll be caught. And this person here is coming out of this light place and is looking at this very dark entrance to something, and there's this deep chasm, and it's just like, well, it's scary, this change. It's like, well, what am I going to go into? What's this new life, this new experience? But it's like you have the courage to push yourself into change, because maybe even though this place is lit up, maybe it's not a very nice place. Like maybe there's a party going on in there and you've been bullied and kind of pushed out of it and you feel like no one in there understands you, and you're going into this place that looks dark, but maybe it's going to be a lot better for you. So it's a beautiful feeling of transformation, kind of phoenix energy that I'm getting. We've got Imagine, number 20, so you definitely have a strong imagination. Maybe you write stories, or maybe you are a filmmaker or an actor of some kind and you can come up with these ideas. Okay, Bozhechki. This means like, oh God, in Russian, and it's 3 of Diamonds. Again, there's no guidebook for this deck, but it is an oracle deck. And so this is again just saying like, things get thrown at you and you're like, what fresh hell is this? Like, why is another thing being thrown at me that I don't want to deal with? I don't have the mental or emotional capacity to cope with this right now. Why are you doing this? And it's like, he's just throwing up his hands and looking at the heavens like, why? Why me? And I think the simple answer is because you have the capacity to deal with it even if you're not aware of it. You have so much energy and strength within you, and so basically these trials and these tests that seem to be thrown your way all of the time is purely because you're meant in this lifetime to go through a lot of transformation, and you're meant to come out like some kind of phoenix, as I said before, like, you know, completely changed and completely stronger and so much wonderful energy. I'm getting a lot of fire energy here, you guys, as well. So Aries, Leo, Sagittarius coming through quite strongly. Gemini as well with the Lovers. We've got Trust. The robin trusts her wings, not the branch she sits on. And that's important as well. You trust yourself. You're very independent. And maybe this is another reason why you don't open up. Maybe you think, well, I can sort this problem on my own, and it's kind of like, if I share it with someone else, they're just going to make it worse, they're just going to meddle, and it's going to get out of hand, and I can do it myself. And that's a great way of looking at things, and it's great that you do trust yourself. But again, I feel like you would benefit from just opening up a little bit more. And we've got Buď soucitný, be compassionate. So yeah, definitely someone who is caring and kind and very empathetic and open to other people's energy. So let's get your charms on top now. As I said, we do charms and dice here as well. So if you're wearing headphones, or if you have the volume up quite loud, you might want to turn it down just a little bit while I shuffle the charms, because they're mainly metal and they can be quite loud. So group 2, what makes you so amazing? Oh my goodness, you guys, there are so many initials here. What the hell? I guess a lot of people are going to choose this pile. Okay, maybe you can find some words. I'm going to show you them a bit closer up. So we've got W, Y, and G. W, Y, and G. And these could be people's names, surnames, they could be places, qualities that you might have. They could just be like a random word that comes to you. We've got C. And what have we got here? M, K, and T. So already the name Katie has been spelled out, because I can see A there as well. Katie might be your name. So A, and then H and R. That's so interesting because none of these have actually been repeated. So R, H, A, T, K, M, C, W, Y, and G. So you might be able to make some words or names out of that. Please have a go in the comments, because I'm really interested in seeing what you come up with. It might have some special significance to you. I'm going to look at your other charms as well. So we've got the deer down here. So you're a really sweet person, and I feel like you often just want to think the best of people. I think you want to assume that everyone is just naturally good at heart, even if they get, you know, pushed to do bad things in this lifetime. I think you kind of deep down want to believe that all people are good, and that's just a really sweet way of looking at the world. We've got the star as well, so this feeling of healing and hope and optimism and faith, again, faith coming through quite strongly. The helmet, you've definitely been through a few battles, you've been through a few tough times, and you're stronger because of it. I honestly believe that. And I know if you're still going through it, it's not very easy to be told that, because you feel wounded, you feel hurt, you feel tired. But honestly, if you are still going through these difficult situations, when you come out of it, maybe not straight away, you will realize that you're stronger. You will realize that you've learned something from going through that. We've got another star as well, so that's one of your symbols. We've got the key, so there is a solution here. You're a good problem solver. You are always able to kind of pull things back from disaster. We've also got intelligent, which is Gemini, so you're an intelligent person, of course. Got the birdhouse, and this little bird has his mouth open. He's calling for his friends. So you are either someone that always gets called upon for advice or support, or you're someone who just likes to be surrounded by your close unit of friends. And it may be that you don't have a load of friends, but you have like a few good close friends that you know you can rely on. Got the worry doll, definitely a worrier, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, because it shows that you care. Got the guardian angel here as well. Really beautiful energy. I feel like you're quite connected to the angelic realm. We have the kettle. Okay, yeah, so this is my symbol of things bubbling away under the surface, and then all of a sudden they come up and they're really intense and difficult to deal with. So feel like you've had a few crises in your lifetime, maybe some breakdowns, and I feel like you've helped others through theirs as well. I think that's something that, with it landing on that be compassionate card, I think that's something you've really helped people with. But also I kind of see it as like tea time, like if someone's really going through a tough time, you're like, right, come round, I'll get the kettle on, and you know, we can talk about this, and I'll send everyone else out of the house and we'll just have this time to ourselves. I think you're a really caring, loyal friend. Got the turtle as well, which is about taking things slowly. You don't rush yourself, which is good. Also got this jade ball, so that is my symbol of luck and finances. So that's a good omen for career. It's a good omen for just general abundance and finances. And it's saying that you're luckier than you think as well. You have more blessings than you perhaps realize. And we've got the hand of Fatima. So you are really protected by the divine. That's the symbol of being protected from all negative energies and entities. You have a very strong spiritual team around you. Got the anchor as well, stability, able to make things calm in the storm. It's got like a really calming, caring energy. You have the champagne as well, so you know how to have fun, and you're able to kind of laugh at situations and let your hair down when you need to. I don't think you're someone who's uptight all the time. I think you're someone who's just able to relax sometimes and just say, yeah, okay, you know, that was funny that I did that, or yes, that person offended me, but I guess he's an idiot. And you know, you can just laugh at stuff like that. We've also got freedom in the heart space as well, so that's a beautiful message. Being free, being strong enough and powerful enough to say this isn't working for me and to walk away. And we've got a love heart there, so there's definitely a lot of love that you have to give. And we've got the eternal love charm as well, so the love heart with the infinity symbol wrapped around it. And that's interesting. I feel like the person that you are going to be with in this lifetime is a past life connection for you. I think it's someone that you've had a romantic relationship with in a previous lifetime, because when I get that charm, I think of like love that spans several lifetimes. Really beautiful message. So now I'll do your dice. What I do first is I roll this 6-sided dice to see which set we're going to use, because I have quite a few. Okay, same as pile 1. Interesting. So that's my original dice. So this is your first time getting a dice reading. This is exciting. And now I'm going to see how many of these I'm going to roll for you. Whoa, same as pile 1. That's so strange. Okay. Yeah, I would recommend you watching pile 1 as well if you felt drawn to it, because I think there's a lot of overlapping messages. Okay, so what makes group 2 so amazing? Why are they such an amazing person? Okay, so 2 of these are repeated from pile 1, so I'll address those straight away. So we have got the plane, traveling. It makes me think that you have a connection to another country or culture, so maybe you were raised in 2 cultures, and that's also what this card could represent, that kind of between worlds aspect and juggling that. Maybe you speak another language or you're learning one. Maybe you're just really into something from another country or culture, like I think I said K-pop in the previous pile, or like maybe you're from Australia and you really are into like American TV shows, for example, or you really love Chinese food, or I don't know, just really interested in something from another country. And the pyramid is the other one that was from pile 1. So connection to Egypt there, I'm thinking like maybe you have had a previous lifetime in Egypt. I'm also seeing kind of magic and the occult and the arcane being things that you're interested in. So that's a lovely message. Then we've got the lock here. So yeah, you're definitely someone who is not kind of too open with people. I think it takes a while to get close to you because you want to know if this is someone you can trust. And I think you're also wary of sharing too much about yourself because, as I said, you don't want to make yourself vulnerable. We've got the light bulb here as well. So you have some great ideas in your life. Definitely you have some great kind of light bulb moments. And I think you're a very creative person. As I said before, there's a lot about here about creativity, about imagination, about being able to think positively, and that changes your surroundings. Definitely a spiritual person as well with the moon. There is that feminine energy. There is the connection to the unseen, everything that's hidden, subconscious. As I said again, past life issues maybe is something that you're working with. I also think of Pisces when I get the moon because that is the zodiac sign associated with the moon card. And we've got the Justice, the scales here, so you may have Libra energy as well. But I think you're a very fair person, and you just always want everyone to be happy. You want everything to work out for everyone involved. And I think also you're someone who can kind of see both sides of a lot of situations. Like someone comes to you and they're really upset and they're like, oh, I can't believe what Tom's done again, and you're like, oh my god, tell me. But then at the same time, although you're comforting that person, you can kind of be impartial, and you can kind of be like, although you might not say this to the person, you're like, yeah, I can understand why he did that, and like I can understand what led to that situation. Like I think you're someone who's quite fair and is able to see both sides quite clearly. And we've got the dice here, the dice with the dice on it. So think of gambling and risk taking when I see that, but I also think of luck. So as I said, I think you're luckier than you realize. And I think that a few things have seemed to be like massive coincidences for you in life, but they weren't. Like they were meant to happen in that way. And I think also synchronicities are something you see a lot, like angel numbers or repeated symbols or colors or words. And I think that's something that is just going to continue throughout your life, that you're guided in this way that seems random or that seems like a coincidence, but it's actually not. It's actually your spiritual team guiding you, which is really beautiful. So this is so interesting. I hope you've enjoyed this. Please let me know in the comments how it resonated with you. And if you've already watched White Rose's video, let me know as well if it kind of linked with that. If you haven't, I will put her video link in the description box, as I said before, and also in the comments section and the timestamps. So please do go and check that out, especially if you've not seen her channel before, because she's really, really great. I would really appreciate it if you would also give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and if you would subscribe and become part of this little family that is ever growing that we're creating on here. If you enjoyed this video, and if you think one of your friends would enjoy this as well, please do share it with them, because I am, as I said, a growing channel and still emerging on YouTube, and it's hard to get seen a lot of the time because there are just so many great creators out there. But I think I just want to share these messages with people. If you are interested in any of these decks, do go to the description box to find what they're called, because I list them there. And if you want a private reading, I have my Etsy page there. There's also ways that you can support the channel in the description box if you choose to do that, but please don't feel in any way pressured to do that. That's only if you want to do it, that you would have any need to do that. So have a great rest of your day, Group 2. I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye. Hey there everyone who picked pile 3 with the Garnet and the Happy Tarot. This is your reading. So as I said before, we'll do Tarot first, and then I've got some pre-shuffled Oracle cards which I haven't looked at, and then we will do charms and dice, so stick around so you get your full reading. And let's start shuffling for this spread. So what makes Group 3 so amazing? Wow, okay. And I've got a picture of the spread in front of me so that I remember how to layer the cards. It's always something I struggle with. It's one of the reasons why I don't do spreads very often, is because I end up putting stuff in the wrong place. Okay, so number 1, this is why you are so amazing. And we've got the Magician here. So for me, I'm seeing like alchemy and transformation here. I'm seeing strong, powerful manifestation energy. And I think you have a lot of psychic ability as well. I think you're a good manifester. I think you are able to turn a bad situation into a positive one. And I feel like you're able to look back on situations that were traumatic or stressful for you and see like a silver lining or see a lesson or a moral in that. And that's a really positive quality because it stops you from wallowing and kind of, you know, being stuck in the past, and it starts you, like, it allows you to understand what is the reason behind everything. It kind of helps you to continuously be learning. And so that's a really good message there. So the Magician, beautiful card to get. Yeah, transformative, alchemical feeling there. And then number 2 is, what is a past accomplishment of yours? So we've got the 2 of Swords, and this makes me think of like breaking a stalemate. So there was maybe a situation where you didn't want to make a decision, but you did. And maybe it was a kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't decision. Maybe people were trying to push you to do one particular thing and it just wasn't what you wanted, so you chose something else. I'm feeling for some of you also, this is a situation where someone was kind of leaving you dangling in a relationship sense, like they were saying, oh yeah, we will be together, I promise, but they weren't showing that. Or maybe they had someone else involved in like a third party situation, and so you were like, no, I'm gonna stick up for myself. And so you broke off that connection, or you broke off that energy, and that's something you should really be proud of. Like, even if you suffered because of that, even if you felt it was painful or it was maybe not the right thing to do, just know that it was, and that you are so strong and independent because of that, and you kind of gained a lot of power from doing that. So number 3 is, what do you bring to others? And we've got the Knight of Cups. So a lot of love there, a lot of beautiful emotional energy, like caring energy. I also think you're quite a creative person, maybe quite imaginative as well. Like, I get a very dreamy energy from the Knight of Cups, just this feeling of able to look at something in a better way. Maybe not in like a rose-tinted way, but just in, you're able to frame it in a more positive way, whatever happens. And I think also you, as a child, liked playing fantasy games and possibly read or still read a lot of fantasy literature just because you enjoy escaping to other worlds that are more interesting, or just where the problems are so much different to your own and you can kind of escape your own problems through doing that. And I think you really inspire other people through that loving, imaginative energy. So what are your skills and talents? We've got the Tower. So wow, you are able to handle change. And maybe you don't think of it like that. Maybe you think of like, oh my God, I've been through so much in my life and it's so stressful and I've had to go from one place to the other or one relationship to the next. But no, you're really good at handling change. Look at how resilient you are. This is incredible. I love the Tower when it's coming up in like a positive sense, because it's talking about being adaptable, being kind of fluid, mercurial energy, and that is really linking in with the Magician as well. Someone who is like a phoenix rising from the ashes, always changing to adapt to a certain situation. Maybe you've moved around a lot. Maybe you've kind of had lots of different jobs or changed careers after you'd been in one career for a very long time. It was like a sudden decision. Maybe you have had a divorce with someone that you thought you would be with forever, and you know, things have shaken up your life, but it's all to teach you this adaptability. And I think you are quite adaptable. And I just saw a lizard like in my mind, this kind of image of a lizard. So maybe that's an important animal for you. Just this, I guess lizards are quite resilient and quite adaptable. So don't know why I saw that, but that was coming up. I've got 7 of Swords here in why do you feel down about yourself? So the 7 of Swords is saying that you feel you've been tricked a lot in life. You feel like people have betrayed you, or maybe you've been cheated on. Maybe you were really good friends with people who ended up betraying you or kind of double crossing you. Maybe you often find that people at work are kind of talking about you behind your back. It just feels like you think or know that people have been gossiping about you or have been kind of snide behind your back or double crossing you in some way. And I think it's had some effect on your feelings of self-esteem and your feelings of self-worth as well, really. Like there's this sense of, well, why would they do that to me unless there was a reason? And your last card here is, how should you practice self-love? How should you show love to yourself? And we've got the 10 of Swords. So don't be so harsh on yourself. Pick yourself up off the floor and pull those swords out of your back and just keep moving on. And honestly, I like this imagery because it's talking like about being backstabbed by other people. Just pull those swords out of your back and move on. Leave those people behind. Don't bother going back to kind of stab them in their back or twist the knife in them. Just leave it. Just honestly throw it all in the river and move on. Because I think there have been some pretty toxic people in your life and they've had an effect on your energy. Because with that Knight of Cups, I think you're quite an empathetic person. You maybe take on others' feelings or other people's vibes quite easily. And so this is just saying, you know, get away from the toxic people. Go no contact or low contact if it's difficult, you know, if they're a family member maybe, or if it's an ex-husband that you have children with or whatever, and you need to speak to them for whatever reason, go as low contact as you can and just try and pull yourself away from other people's drama, as difficult as that might be. So then we've got your pre-shuffled oracle cards. So let's see if they're going to back me up with what I've been saying. So 10 of Swords again. Wow. Interesting. Yeah. And what I like about this card is that the imagery is explained in the guidebook for this particular deck. But basically in the 9 of Swords, there was a boy sitting in the middle with these swords in front of him, and he was surrounded by this dragon that seemed like it was trapping him. And now in the 10 of Swords, he's moved on and he has recognized that the dragon was there to teach him a lesson, and he's trapping the dragon. He's closing off that section of his life by saying, okay, I'm done now. I'm done with this. And it is reminding me this symbol of this snake that's eating its own tail, that kind of infinity symbol. I think it's called Ouroboros, but you might want to correct me. I'll look that up if you don't know. It's like the cyclical nature of life, constantly changing, constantly transforming, but at the same time it's still the same essence. Because I feel like although you've been through a lot of change and a lot of disruption in your life, you're still at your core the same person. But yeah, definitely you're someone who's able to overcome these obstacles and move on, leaving the past behind you. So that's really, really positive. And of course the dragon is a big lizard, so maybe we'll see some more of that imagery here. So we've got Verde Prato, wounds. Yeah, you've definitely had a lot of difficulty in this life. You've definitely been backstabbed. You've definitely been hurt by people, maybe not through their actions, but through their words, maybe through both. Maybe you were bullied as a kid, and that's kind of cut deep a lot of the time. Maybe you didn't have the best upbringing, but definitely you've been through some toxic environments, I want to say, like maybe toxic relationships or situations at work or at school that have been very, very hostile, maybe at home as well when you were growing up. And it's left a mark, but I don't think it's stopped you from being this amazing person, because you've got that magician energy, and that is just such a beautiful energy to have. So just be proud of those wounds, be proud of your battle scars and of who you are, because it's formed you, it's made you a richer and more sympathetic person. Because I think through going through these situations, you now understand more how other people, or why other people do things that some people would shake their head at and say, oh, they're just a bad person. But you're like, no, it's because they've been through this situation, and you wouldn't know that you wouldn't do the same if you weren't in their position, you know? So it's definitely made you more compassionate. We've got miracles, expect the wondrous to emerge. And that's interesting, because I was just looking at that and I was just thinking quite a healing energy from that card. And so with this miracles card, I honestly feel like you are a light worker. You've been put on this earth to help heal the earth and to heal other people as well. And I love that. We've got the miracles, we've got the magician, this magical manifesting energy. And if you didn't see properly on this card, it is the genie's lamp, and this is probably my favorite card in this deck, just because the imagery and the colors are so beautiful. If you hadn't guessed already, violet is my favorite color. So then we've got another kind of magical image here. Like, this guy also looks like a magician. And so these cards are from a game, they're not oracle cards, there's no guidebook. But when I get this card, I think of you being in the spotlight and kind of all eyes being on you, like it's your time to shine. And I genuinely feel like you were placed on this earth to bring light into the world and to kind of heal other people's wounds, because all of these stars is this healing energy for me. And there's the water as well, and the greenery, like the herbs. Maybe some of you are in the medical profession, either as doctors or nurses, or what's the word, physiotherapists, like people who are supporting healing, or also alternative therapies as well, Reiki healers, for example. I just feel like a lot of you have this healing energy about you, and also that people are really drawn to you because, you know, all eyes are on this person, everyone's watching him. He's the only person in that room that matters at that time. And I think you've been a real lifeline to other people in this life as well. I think that some people, whether you realize it or not, I think some people feel like they owe their life to you, and that they, without you, would not have continued with their journey. And I'm kind of tearing up a little bit at this energy, because it's like this feeling that you probably don't know how appreciated you are, but I think genuinely some of you have saved people's lives through being there for them. And you'll probably know if you are one of these people, but then again, you never really know what's in someone else's mind. So you might not know that you actually have saved some lives just through being there and through being supportive and kind and caring. Maybe some of you do kind of volunteer as mental health support workers or something like that. You know, people who answer calls for Samaritans or other people organizations to help people who are really going through a tough time. Beautiful energy. So we've got yin as well, number 2. So I get it like high priestess energy from this as well. Very feminine energy. I think a lot of you are divine feminine. Also this feeling of kind of control and molding, because when I think of yang, it's like the empress, like creating new stuff, but yin is like the emperor. It's like working with what you have and molding it. So again, like the cross between Dionysian art and Apolleian art, like creating and frenzy versus molding and balance and restraint. Beautiful. We've also got Uyutnoye Vremya, cozy time, and it is 1 of diamonds. This also doesn't have a guidebook, but it is an oracle deck. So you also know how to relax. You're able to, just de-stress sometimes. I think you probably have quite a cozy house, or if you don't have your own house yet, you want one in the future. Like you want to be the place where everyone feels safe, like it's that sanctuary. And I feel like if someone turned up on your door and was like, look, I've been thrown out, or I've just had like a massive argument with my boyfriend, or I've just like had an awful experience, I think you would just immediately open the door and say, come in, I'll get like blankets for you and I'll get something set up for you so you can stay here and you can tell me about it if you want to. And you're just that lovely caring energy. We've also got music. There is a melody to be heard in the deepest parts of the woods if only we listen. So there's a creative aspect there. Maybe you are a musician or you just really love music. And we have Sipod Nevishi Ochrano. You are under the highest protection, which is really beautiful. So I think that you in yourself have this protective energy. As I said, I feel like you really care about your friends. You're quite protective of them. You would go out of your way to help them if you could. But I think also you have a strong divine presence around you. You are being watched over, and partly it's because you've had some difficult experiences in life, and so you've acquired more guides and guardians than maybe most people would have. But there's definitely a sense of protection around you, which is really, really lovely. So I'm going to get your charms now, and then we'll do your dice. So if you're wearing headphones or if you have the volume turned up quite loud, you might want to turn it down because these are mainly metal. They can be a bit loud when I shuffle them. Okay, so you've been warned. So pile 3, why are you so amazing? What makes you such an amazing person? That one just kind of rolled off my mat. So I'm just looking for initials first of all. So we've got the letter S and also R. So that could have some meaning for you as a first name or a surname. It could be a place or a particular quality that you think you have, or, just a random word might come to you and it might seem random at the time, but later it makes sense. We've got ambitious here, which is Capricorn energy. So you may be Capricorn or have that in your chart. I'm also seeing a lot of air energy as well, because you've got a lot of swords going on here and some water with the King of Cups. So we've got cookies, the cookie jar, knowing how to treat yourself, and that's important as well. And that again is making me think of that kind of sanctuary place, like someone turns up at your house and you've got their back, like you're instantly there with tea and something nice to eat, and you're just like, look, be cozy, like this is your safe space. It's a really nice energy. We've got the Hanged Man as well, so maybe a lot of you do have faith, because that is one of the things that this symbolizes, but it's also about sacrifice and being a deep thinker, and I think often you put other people before yourself. Got the Canadian symbol as well, You might be from Canada, or you might have a connection to Canada, but that is also my sign of strength and endurance. You might also be able to hear the wind picking up now in the background. It's getting quite loud. We've got the galaxy as well, the stars. So you may be a star seed. That may be something that resonates with you. If you don't know what it is, you might want to look that up. But I see like letting the stars align, waiting for the right time for everything to happen. I don't think you're someone who is rushing yourself at this time. I think that you are just kind of putting your faith and your trust in the universe, and that's coming out pretty strongly in the rest of the reading. But I think it's interesting that you've got the stars, because they are here as well, and they're like a symbol of healing for me, and I've got another one there as well. Maybe star is like an important symbol for you, but there's that healing energy that comes with the stars. There's also the baby boy there, so you might work with children, or you might have children. He also makes me think of someone who's a little bit childish or immature sometimes. So maybe you do have like a hobby that is really what people would say is for kids. And I don't believe that anything should just be for kids. But maybe you do watch cartoons or play a lot of games that people would roll their eyes and say, are you never going to grow up, kind of thing? But I don't think you have to. We've got the health symbol here, the apple. So also, you know, doing things that are right for your health, because I've got the scissors, cutting people out, cutting cords with certain situations, cutting out negativity from your life because you're prioritizing your health. We've got the hockey sticks down here, teamwork. You're a very good friend, as I said before. I think you're someone that a lot of people turn to and rely on. The musical symbol, so yeah, a lot of you are into music, a lot of you are very creative. We have got two symbols of toxic people. So I think you've definitely had your fair share of toxic situations. Got the crocodile there and the skull and crossbones. You've definitely known your fair share of narcissists or manipulators or just people who are abusive in general. But we've got the goldstone, which to me is like the sun card, saying that you are still a positive and confident person. You are still optimistic and stronger than you think, and things are just going to continue improving for you because you put that energy out into the world. So that's what you're going to get back. Got the blessings fairy as well. So you're very blessed in your life, whether you realize it or not. People are very attached to you. Got the party hat as well. There's something to celebrate. You feel like, again, highs and lows. Like there's a lot to celebrate and be proud of and happy about in your life, but at the same time you've had a really tough time as well, maybe more so in the early days of your life, but I think you've kind of overcome a lot of stuff that has been very, very powerful. Got the hen as well, so I think of like motherly nurturing energy when I get the hen. Also, you might be born in the Chinese year of the rooster. The elephant, so that's about overcoming obstacles, learning from past mistakes and just moving forward. The bunny is about playfulness, light-hearted energy, mischievous, passion, excitement, adventure with the chilies. And I missed anything? Oh yeah. Ganesha. Okay, so I have a few god charms on my channel, and Ganesha might be someone you particularly resonate with. We've got another elephant here as well, but he is the god of wisdom, knowledge, healing, overcoming obstacles. So he is around your energy. He is a god that you might want to continue working with or consider working with if you're feeling called to do that, because he's coming out to show some support for you here. Also got the notification bell. I think you are someone who kind of draws a lot of attention to yourself, whether you realize it or not, because we've got that spotlight again, and I feel like people notice you. Even if you feel like you're invisible, people notice you, and people kind of talk about you, not in a negative way, but people are like, oh, can you believe that this person's done this? Or did you know that this person like overcame this? And it's really interesting for people. And we've got the love heart here as well. So a lot of love to give that's inside you. You're a very loving and caring person. So I'm going to get your dice now. So what I do is I roll this six-sided dice to see which set we're going to use, because I have a few sets of dice. And number one is my fantasy dice. These ones. And then I roll to see how many we're going to use, because I don't just want to roll all of them in case they don't all have a message for you. And we're rolling 3, and it's interesting because this is pile number 3. Okay, so maybe 3 is an important number for you. Okay, so what makes pile 3 so amazing? Why is group 3 such an amazing person? I'll just drop that on the table. Let's see. Okay. Now this is interesting. So you've got a fairy and you have a fairy here as well. And there's like a lot of magic energy that's surrounding you, because when I see that I think of connection to the fairy kingdom, but also magic. And you've got the magician, you've got this kind of stage magician as well, you've got the genie card, you've got a lot here about magic. So you have some magical talents or powers that maybe you're aware of, maybe you're not. I think a lot of you are great manifestors, as I've said before. We've also got Mount Olympus. So you're definitely watched over by a lot of deities, by a lot of spiritual beings as well. You're definitely being watched, and as I said here, you're under the highest protection. So that's really beautiful. You are never alone. Don't think that heaven doesn't see what you're going through or what you're doing, because it absolutely does. And then we've got the Moses basket. So again, that connection to children, but with the Moses basket, I think of the story of this. So Moses as a baby being put in the basket and floated to safety away from the people that were trying to kill him. And it's on the 7 of Swords. So I feel like you take those decisions to remove yourself from situations where people are toxic or negative. And a lot of people don't have the strength to do that. You know, a lot of people stay in situations because they feel like they don't have the strength to pull themselves out of it, or they feel like they won't find other people to love them or to hang around with, or they think, well, I can't leave my job because it will entail moving house, or, you know, I'll never find something that pays as well and gives me these hours. But I think that you just take the decisions that are right for your health, and that is so admirable and laudable. So I hope you've enjoyed this reading, and I hope it has resonated with you. Please do let me know in the comments how it resonated. And also, if you've already watched White Rose's video, let me know if that also resonated with what she said, if you got similar messages. If you haven't watched it, I'll link it in the description box and also in the comments section where I put the timestamps, so please do go and check that out. And I would really love it if you would give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe and join this growing family, this lovely community that we're building here, if you would like to see more videos from me. And also, if you enjoyed this reading and you think that one of your friends would enjoy it, please do share it with them. It's kind of hard to get seen on YouTube sometimes, and it's nice because there are so many creators just to share those messages with more and more people. So I really hope you've enjoyed this, and if you were interested in any of the decks that I used, do look in the description box because I've listed them all in there. Also, my Etsy page is there for anyone who wants to book a private reading, and there's ways to help out the channel there as well, but don't feel pressured to do that, because I only want you to do that if you honestly want to do it and you feel kind of called to do that. So check out the description box, there's loads of links, and also White Rose's video will be there if you haven't seen it already. But have a lovely rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me, and take care of yourselves. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye. Hey there everyone, if you chose pile number 4 with the blue goldstone and the Tarot of the Gnomes, then this is your reading. So as I said, we'll do Tarot first, and I'm going to shuffle it for you, and I've already shuffled some oracle cards, but I haven't looked at them yet because I don't want them to influence kind of how I read the tarot cards. And then we will do charms and dice as well, so stick around so that you get your full reading. Okay, so you clearly love my little gnomes at the back if this was calling you out. Okay, so pile 4, why are you so amazing? And I've just dropped some cards on the floor. Okay, this is the hard part for me. This is why I don't do spreads, because then I end up like forgetting what it looks like and putting stuff in the wrong place. So I've got a picture of the spread right next to me so that I don't forget. Okay, so I need 3 more cards. Okay. see what we've got. So pile 4, why are you so amazing? It's card number 1. So this is Semyorka Chash, the 7 of Cups, and it says Pravda, truth. And so you speak and live your truth, regardless of whether it fits with what other people want you to do or the way other people want you to behave. You speak your truth, you live your truth. You don't let other people tell you what is best for you or tell you what to do. And what I love about this particular card is that this gnome is speaking the truth because he's drunk. And so the truth has come out through his own kind of loose-lipped nature. So maybe you do like to party and maybe sometimes you do kind of say more than you would like to. But I think people admire your honesty, and that's one of your best qualities, is just the fact that you're really about authenticity, and you don't want to be, you know, one of those people that just follows the crowd and lives a life of lies just to fit in with society. You're just comfortable being who you are and being in your own skin, and that is beautiful. So let's see, what is a past accomplishment for you? So we've got Rytsar Moniet, the Knight of Pentacles, and it says Kazna, which is the Russian word for treasury. So basically you have achieved something when it comes to career or your own kind of goals. There is a significant financial achievement here that took a long time to get to where you are. Maybe you have worked your way up in a career, or maybe you spent years and years and years writing a book and you're finally getting it published, or you got recognition for something that you did, you got an award, or someone was like, that's amazing. Maybe you got a bonus at work and like were recognized for doing something. I'm also seeing just your hard work has paid off in the past. Just in general, you're someone who puts your all into everything. If it really matters to you, you're going to put your energy and your time into that. You're going to plan it carefully. I think a lot of you are earth signs, especially because you picked this deck as well. And for those of you that have already been in my shop a few times, you'll know that I do a lot of elemental readings, and gnomes are earth and metal elementals, so that will resonate with you as well, especially if you are an earth sign or if you have that quite strongly in your chart. But you're a hard worker, definitely, and I think you're someone who doesn't really mind too much if you're not seeing results straight away. I think you're happy with controlled progress rather than kind of the jolting overnight success kind of thing. I think you're happy just seeing things develop slowly and organically. So then what do you bring to others? So pile 3, we've got Tuz Magnet, so another Pentacles Earth card, the Ace of Pentacles, and it says business. So this is interesting. I think you're quite financially savvy. I think you're someone who is very proactive about what you're spending, and maybe you haven't always been this way. Maybe circumstances have made you be, you know, more thrifty and think about where you're spending money and where you could cut back and how you could be more shrewd financially. I think a lot of you are entrepreneurs or hoping to be. If you're not yet old enough to kind of start your own business, I think that's where a lot of you are heading. Maybe some of you are studying business at university. And just in general, I think that you're someone who kind of has things under control. Like, you're quite a stable person, and kind of seeing like a pack horse image. Maybe it's because this little beetle is holding up this enormous coin. I'm just like someone who people throw stuff at you and you just like get on with it. Like, you don't complain, you don't let it stop you from going where you're going. You're just like, yeah, okay, another trial or another, you know, difficult thing, but I can deal with it. And you're like someone who just pushes ahead and keeps moving forward. So I think that is inspiring to others, but I think also you're quite a good advice giver, and maybe you've bailed people out a few times as well, especially if you have children. Maybe you have kind of been a bit of a bank of mum or dad kind of thing, and you've helped people out financially. But I think also you're a stable presence in a lot of people's lives. Like, people are like, oh, you're my rock. Like, I wouldn't know what to do without you being here, because you're just always there, like, you know, helping me out if I need it, or listening to me even though I'm rambling, like I am now, essentially. So your 4th card is, what are your skills and talents? And we've got the Wheel of Fortune. And I'm pretty sure this came out in another pile on this particular place. So that's interesting. So basically this is saying, you're luckier than you realize. You have more blessings than you're aware of. Sorry, I didn't say it in Russian. It's колесо, the wheel. And yeah, you're more blessed and protected and watched over than you realize. And I think also you're someone who's good at changing and evolving with the times. And so maybe you're a very different person to who you were 2 years ago, or to who you were when you were, you know, young, like kind of young adult. Maybe you are very different to who you were back then, and your views have changed, your style has changed, you know, your way of behavior has changed, and you've just gone through micro evolutions, but also these bigger changes. And I think you've also had quite a few previous lifetimes as well. And maybe this lifetime has thrown up a load of stuff from the past lifetime that you've had to deal with, but you've been very good at adapting to it. So that's a real positive, is that you're able to adapt to change. So then we've got, why do you feel down about yourself? And we've got Tuz Chash, which is the Ace of Cups, so another ace. And it's Udovolstvие, which is pleasure, satisfaction, in Russian. So maybe you're just not satisfied with where you are in life right now. Maybe you feel like, okay, things are moving too slowly for me, or yeah, so I made some progress in the past, but now I've kind of stalled. Maybe you just feel like life isn't rewarding or enriching enough at this time, and so you just have kind of, the shine has been taken off it for whatever reason. And I think for a lot of you, this is also to do with relationships. Maybe your relationships aren't fulfilling, and I'm not just talking about romantically, I'm talking about friends and family and at work as well. Like maybe you are surrounded by people that just drain you, or that don't have that lovely uplifting energy and supportive energy that you should be getting in a relationship. So I feel like that's the biggest thing that brings you down, is feelings of satisfaction, well, dissatisfaction with your life, and also lack of fulfillment in relationships, and feeling like a lack of support around you. Maybe you feel like you're always the one that's pulling people out of difficult situations. You're always the one that has to stay strong and has to, you know, help people out and bail people out, but they are never there to catch your back, or when they are, it's kind of a bit weaker than what you would offer. And then we've got, how should you show love? How should you practice self-love? And we've got Devyatka Bulav, the 9 of Wands, and it says Nakazania, punishment. And what I like about this is that it says in the guidebook, there's no problem that can't be fixed. Like there's nothing that is too big to fix. So if you feel like you've missed the boat in some way, if you feel like you want to change careers but it's too late for you, or you feel like, you know, you're never going to find love because it's too late, or you've made too many bad choices in life, just know that there's always a chance to change things. There's always a chance to fix things. And if you have fallen out with people, if this is maybe, you know, not having good contact with your family or with old friends, it's never too late to have a go at changing it and fixing it. So I would say the best way for you to show self-love to yourself is not to consider your life or any choices you've made to be a lost cause. Don't give up on yourself the way that you don't give up on other people. Because what I'm seeing here is that you are a very stable presence in a lot of people's lives, and that you have helped them in quite practical ways. Because in the other piles where people have been helping other people, it's been more like they've been there to listen, or they've been, you know, able to just be around them in like a comforting way. But it feels like you're able to offer more practical help. Maybe you've given people some really good advice, you've helped people get a job, you've helped people turn their life around in some way, or you've given them some money. And so it feels like you have helped other people, but you need to show that kind of love to yourself as well, and know that you can also fix your problems in the way that you fix other people's. So now I'm going to look at your oracle cards, which I haven't seen yet. So let's see if they back me up. Okay, so we've got the Chariot, Peter Pan. Lovely card. So, okay, I feel like you have this kind of Peter Pan energy where you never fully grew up. Like you still know how to have fun. You still know how to kind of let your hair down. And I think that you're interested in a lot of things that you liked as a kid. Maybe you've only recently rediscovered them and you're like, what the hell, you know, I'm just going to enjoy myself and not worry about what society thinks. Or maybe you've just always been this person who's like, yeah, I like gaming, or I like, you know, watching cartoons, or this children's movie that I always watch and I really enjoy it. And people are like, oh, you know, rolling their eyes, like you're too old for Harry Potter, or you're too old for this and that. And you're just like, no, there's no such thing. And this kind of optimistic energy keeps you alive, and it keeps you youthful as well. And maybe you also have children or you work with children, and so that is kind of, you know, helping you to stay in this mindset. But it's a very nice energy. And so that's Cancer energy as well. So we've got a lot of earth energy from this, but now also Cancer as well. So we've also got Vasilisa the Brave, Courage, which is number 18. So you are a very strong person. You are a very brave person. Like, I'm feeling loyal, but also like you will risk yourself and your own security for other people. So maybe you've stood up to people who've been bullied at work or at school, and you've kind of risked your own popularity, or, you know, if someone was actually being physically abusive, you've risked your own safety to do that. Or maybe you support a lot of causes where people can't stand up for themselves, and so you kind of financially or with your own time go and support those charitable organizations. I feel also you're the kind of person who would like absolutely die for your kids and your best friends without a moment's thought if that opportunity arose and you had to save them. Like, I think that would absolutely be something you would do without a moment's hesitation. And there's a lot of Russian stuff here as well, because that's a Russian folktale, and you've got the Gnome Tarot cards, which is the Russian edition. So we've got Narrow Pathway, Tread Thoughtfully. Yeah, so I think I'm getting like a diplomat energy here. Like, I don't think you've necessarily been through the harshest life imaginable, but I think when you've had like a difficult time, you've managed to kind of squeeze your way out of it through kind of charm and good talking and thinking outside the box. And so I'm getting like kind of Knight of Swords energy as well. And also some of you might be born in the year of the rat, Chinese year of the rat, because there's that feeling of like opportunism here, and oh, I can just make this person help me if I can convince them. And yeah, like this feeling of willfulness, which I really like. Okay, so this is your Dixit card. These aren't oracle cards, there's no guidebook, they're from a game. So we've got the Three Musketeers and D'Artagnan here, that little mouse. So basically, you are a very loyal friend. As I've said before, you're someone who really values loyalty as a trait, and that's with friends, with family, with causes as well that you really support. You kind of, your ideals and your beliefs are something that you will defend till, you know, your last breath. And also you have some people in your life that you will absolutely defend, as I said, to the last moment, until you can't defend them anymore. Like that, you just really care about loyalty, you really care about the people around you, you really value them. That's a lovely card to get, honestly, as a quality. That's such a beautiful, like, it's us against the world energy. Really nice. Oh, happy, number 26. Yeah, you've got an optimistic, cheerful energy. I think you kind of have quite a strong energy. I think when you come into the room, like especially if it's at work, like in the office, it's like, oh, everyone is suddenly talking, and you know, it was all quiet and boring before you walked in, and you're like, hi, and suddenly just everyone's mood is lifted. Poteceniu. So this is like with the flow, going with the flow, and it's 7 of crosses. So there's no guidebook for this as well, but it is an oracle deck. And so this is saying you're someone who is adaptable, is changeable. Like I said with the Wheel of Fortune, like you're able to adapt very well. You let things just kind of wash over you rather than resisting the change. You've learned to kind of swim with the current rather than against it. And I don't mean that in terms of like, you know, just fitting in with society, because I've already said that that's not something you do. I think you're someone who is fine being different and standing out from the crowd and standing up for your beliefs. But I feel like when change comes in your own life, you don't battle against it because you've learned not to. You've learned just to adapt and see where it's going, where that change in the universe is going to take you. Yeah, so we've got resilient. Stay as strong as evergreen trees. So definitely you've had these situations where you've had to be resilient and overcome them. And we've got Sdílej své nadšení se světem. So share your enthusiasm with the world. So definitely you have this kind of burning passion and enthusiasm and this bright, cheerful, optimistic energy that just lifts people up. And I think you have a very strong solar plexus chakra as well, and possibly a very strong sacral chakra. That's what's coming through. So I'm going to get your charms now, group number 4. So stick around for your dice as well. But I will just say, if you're wearing headphones or if you have the volume turned up quite loud, you probably want to turn it down a bit because these can be quite loud. They are metal, so when I shuffle them, it might make a lot of noise. So group 4, what makes you so amazing? Why are you such an amazing person? Okay, so let's see, have we got any initials? Yes. So we've got O, G, K, and W. So that could have some meaning for you. It could be a first name or surname. It could be a place, a quality, a company, like whatever comes to your mind. It might just be a random word. It might not be anything at all. It might only be for a few people. But K, O, G, and W. So what else do we have? We've got the beautiful star there. So that's all about healing and hope and faith. And I do think you're an optimistic person. Like, I think even in your darkest times, that shred of hope that things are going to get better has never left you. And that's a beautiful quality. They say that hope dies last, but I honestly believe that this is something you've never quite allowed yourself to let go of, even when things have been really rough. So we've also got the mature woman here. So possible kind of strong tie to a grandmother or a mother figure. But I also feel like for some of you, you're worried about age because it's landed here on what is making you feel down about yourself. Maybe you're worried that your hair is going grey, or that you have wrinkles, or that you're not as beautiful or as young or as youthful as you used to be. And I don't think that's something you should worry about, because you have this very youthful energy about you. Or maybe you're just scared about getting old and not being able to do everything that you're able to accomplish now, or you're afraid that if you don't do a load of stuff now that you'll regret it when you're older. And I think you shouldn't place so much worry on age and on when you do things. I think you should just allow stuff to kind of unfold naturally. But I think also, despite the fact that you have this very kind of youthful outlook on life, I don't think you're immature, because when I get that charm, I think of someone who is actually quite mature and sensible. It's just that you allow yourself to have fun and to kind of let go of the stresses of life, and that's a really, really good quality that a lot of people don't have. So we've got the skeleton in the closet. So definitely stuff from the past has caused you pain, and maybe it's stuff that's come up again and again, like with this wheel card, things being thrown up when you really don't want to deal with them. But you've been resilient, you've overcome that, you've gotten over it. You've got the cartouche. Now this doesn't come out often. This is a rare charm and a very powerful one. This is saying you are divinely protected for your entire lifetime and also in the next lifetime. So this is like protection spanning lifetimes, which is really amazing. So just know that you are watched over and protected at all times. We've got the Black Knight as well here. So you're quite mysterious and maybe not someone to kind of overly share your thoughts and your feelings and your ideas, just because you're a private person, or just maybe you don't want people to know what you're feeling in case it makes you vulnerable, or they use it against you, or they think less of you for some reason. Especially if you're Capricorn, you're worried about people having respect for you. And we've got that again there with the sheath, like hiding how you really feel, hiding your true face from the world. Got Father Christmas as well. That's winter energy, so that might be when your birthday is, or it might be something important for you, because when I get these kind of seasonal charms, it makes me think of something important happening around that time. Also the fish skeleton. So I think you're good at making other people see their own worth, because that's like the 5 of Pentacles card for me. It's like self-esteem issues or feeling like you don't have enough. So maybe you help the homeless, or you help people who are in need by actually giving or donating money, or your time. As I said before, maybe you go to a soup kitchen or other kind of things like that. But I think also with your friends and your family, you're able to make people realize their own worth, and that's a very valuable, very, very valuable quality to have. We've got find joy in the journey. And that was what I was saying about you not being too worried about things happening overnight. Like you're happy with slow progress as long as it's progress. You just want to enjoy getting there rather than rushing to the destination and missing out on all the lovely experiences along the way. We've got the Jade Ball, which is for luck and finances. So positive things when it comes to luck and money in your life, abundance, and I've seen quite a few cards about money here as well. Yep, the cat that's got the cream, the content cat, abundance, feeling like you've achieved something important, like you've got a comfortable life. Good luck with the dragonfly as well. I think you are blessed with more luck than you were aware of. Got the notification bell, so you get people's attention very easily. Like I'm not saying that you necessarily even try to, like you want to be the center of attention or something, but I think a lot of people notice you even if you're not aware of it, and a lot of people kind of look up to you. Got the leaf as well, so yeah, you don't resist change, you don't resist things falling away from your life. Think of like shedding and releasing. You don't try and fight that. You just let things wash over you, and you know, if something is washed away in the process, that's fine. And we've got the weight here as well, like allowing those burdens to be lifted. Maybe also overcoming weight issues as well. If you have been worried about having excess weight or trying to gain weight, then that is also something that you will overcome if you haven't already. So that's a lovely message. And I'm going to do your dice now, because I think I've addressed all of the charms. Yes. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I roll the 6-sided dice to figure out which set of dice I'm going to roll, because I have a few. Okay, so number 6. So those are my Voyagers dice, and then I see how many of them I'm going to roll for you, because I don't want to roll all of them. That's a 0. I don't want to roll all of them if they don't all have a message, because that would just be confusing. Okay, 2. It's not a lot, but sometimes short and sweet is better than a load of repeated or confusing messages. Okay, so why is group 4 so amazing? Why are they such amazing people? Okay, interesting. So we've got the cave here, and also this is the kind of the way out, like the secret entrance, the secret door. So the cave is making me think that a lot of you, I don't think you're introverts from this. I think maybe some of you are, but I'm feeling like maybe you're ambiverts. Like you love being around people and you get a lot of energy from that, but at the same time you need that time to yourself. You need it, otherwise you will kind of go mad just having all of that energy around you. So you value being around people, but at the same time you just need your own space as well. And I think your home is your sanctuary. And I think a lot of people associate you and your home with safety and with stability and with that kind of, like, as I said before, that rock feeling. So interesting again, because gnomes are very associated with rock and metal and earth, as I said before, and you have chosen the gnome tarot cards, so maybe you feel very connected to earth elementals like gnomes and elves and other little things. So yeah, definitely this feeling of like sanctuary and protection as well. And you might be able to hear the wind howling in the background. I live in Siberia and it's quite a blustery day. And yeah, the way out, like thinking outside of the box. Also mysteriousness I get from you, like this, you don't reveal everything straight away. People have to work to get to know you properly, and so it's like this mysterious energy, and also feeling like, oh, so that's a really interesting way of looking at the world. Like, that's an interesting perspective, or I hadn't considered that. Thank you for helping me solve this problem. It's kind of blue sky thinking quality. So I hope you've enjoyed this reading. This was so exciting. Some lovely messages as well. You seem like a great person. Group 4. So please do let me know in the comments how it resonated with you, and I'm really interested, if you've already watched White Rose's video, to know if you got similar messages with her. So please do let me know. I would also love it if you give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe if you enjoyed this, so that you can see more from me. It really, really helps out my channel, and I am still a growing channel, still emerging, and it's kind of hard to get seen sometimes with all of the great creators out there, so it's nice if you could show some support in that way. And also, if you think a friend would enjoy this, please do consider sharing it with them and kind of getting these messages out to as many people as possible. Also, if you're interested in any of these decks, as I said before, they are listed in the description box if you want to check them out for yourself. And I have my Etsy shop there for anyone wanting to book a private reading. And there's also links as to how you can support the channel, but don't feel pressured to do that in any way. You don't have to. I only want you to consider doing that if you feel called to and if you really want to. But have a lovely rest of your day, group number 4. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye. Take care. Hey there everyone who picked pile number 5 with the Tektite and the Tarot Dobra, the good tarot in the Czech edition. So I'm going to do your tarot cards first, as I said before, and I will shuffle them on camera. And then I have some pre-shuffled oracle cards that I haven't looked at yet because I don't want them to influence how I interpret the tarot cards. And then we'll do charms and dice, as I said. So stick around to make sure you get your full reading. We've got lots going on here. So let's get started. So pile number 5, group 5, why are you such an amazing person? Okay. This is always why I struggle with spreads, because I forget where to put the stuff. So I've got a picture of the spread in front of me to remind myself. So let's look at the first card. So this is why you are amazing, pile 5. And we've got Cztyrka Vzduchu, which is the 4 of swords. So you're a very deep thinker. Like, I can see that straight away. There is like deep thinking, kind of philosophical aspect here. And also I feel like a lot of you maybe overanalyze situations because you worry that you've upset someone, or you worry that you've done something wrong. So what I'm seeing here is just this very caring and deeply thinking energy, which is really beautiful and really compassionate as well. So your second card is what is a past accomplishment for you, and it's another 4, so Cztyrka Vody. So getting over a situation that you were kind of wallowing in. Feel like you have pulled yourself up out of an apathetic or lethargic situation, or a situation where you were just kind of restless and bored with life. I feel like you've turned your life around and you've found your passion and your energy again, and you're maybe not quite where you want to be yet, but you're still going, and it's such a brilliant thing that you should be proud of, that you've pulled yourself out of that wallowing energy and started focusing on your goals and what you really want to do. And I just love this card. It's so beautiful with the pearls. Just makes me think of like clarity and beautiful shining clear energy, because with the 4 of cups generally I think of like, you know, heavy murky energy, not seeing what exactly you should be doing, or not seeing everything that's available to you, but the pearls bring clarity there. So then we've got what do you bring to others, and we've got Posel Zemia. So this is the Knight of Earth. So you are someone who is always there for other people. You have a very kind, caring energy. Whenever I think of the Knight of Earth, I think of someone who's really loving and warm and devoted as well, a very loyal person. You take loyalty and maybe family ties as well as friendship very, very seriously. And, you know, you always want to be there for the people that have been there for you and have proved themselves in some way. So I love this card. This is saying that you're a very caring and kind person. People know that they can call upon you and that you will be there to help. Even if you can't help them in a practical way, you will be there to listen. You will be there to support them, and just a lovely energy of kindness. It's kind of like a guardian angel energy, honestly. So then what are your skills and talents? So we've got Trpělivost, which is temperance, and definitely you're someone who is patient. There's the clock there. You are able to, you know, bide your time. You don't want to rush. And I think that's nice as well with the Knight of Earth. There's this feeling of not rushing people or rushing yourself to get to a situation where you're happier. You're fine with just slow progress, and you're a very measured person as well. I don't think you have like a massive temper or anything, or if you do, you can keep it under control. Like maybe you've had anger management or some other kind of counseling to control the more extreme parts of yourself, and you're learning how to balance, and to balance everything, like the masculine and feminine, to balance the extreme with the moderation, and to find that golden mean within yourself. So that's a really beautiful energy, this skill and talent of moderation that doesn't come easily to a lot of people. And then we've got, why do you feel down about yourself? And we've got the Dvojka vzduchu, so the 2 of air, 2 of swords. And so there's a feeling here of struggling to choose sometimes, like a lack of assertiveness, or struggling with being stuck in a certain situation, like things aren't moving forward, life's not moving forward. You feel like you're waiting for other people to make a decision, or for the stars to align and things to just organically change, and like that's not happening. So you feel kind of caught between a rock and a hard place at the moment, like nothing's improving, and if you make a choice, it's kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. So there is something here that's holding you back, and you feel like maybe your life choices have held you back in some way, or that other people have stopped you from achieving your true potential. And now, how should you practice self-love? How should you practice, showing yourself some love? Osmička vzduchu, so 8 of air. A lot of air cards have been coming out in all of the readings today, which is really interesting. So the 8 of air is telling you that no matter how stuck you feel, you always have options. You always have a choice, even if you don't think that's the case. And what I like about this is this angel looking down from above and kind of seeing the whole situation, like the bigger picture, seeing everything in a way that we don't see it when we're kind of in the situation, like when we're in the middle of the drama, or in the middle of the grief, or the panic. We don't see everything as it truly is, and so needing to look above and try and be impartial and think, well, what would I advise my friend if they came and explained this whole situation to me as if it was happening to them, and think about it from like an outsider's perspective. What would you do? And that's how you should practice self-love, is not to get too caught up in drama, and not to feel like you're a victim and like you don't have any strength or any power or any option, because you always have a choice and you're stronger than you realize. So learning to be more assertive is kind of coming up here, because I think you're someone who always tries to mediate and always tries to, make other people feel better, and you just want everyone to be happy. There's a lot of air energy here as well, so as I said, you may be an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, or have that in your chart quite strongly. You may feel a very strong pull towards air elementals like fairies, wind spirits, etc. So I'm going to look at your oracle cards now and see if they will back me up with what I've been saying. So we've got 3 of wands. That's nice. Okay, so creativity here, especially because these little fairies, as I was saying earlier, fairies are playing the violin, so there's a creative element there. There's like a kind of muse symbolism, like you have this spirit around you that's like the muse, who helps you bring your ideas and your imagination and your creative urges into reality. So definitely creative energy. We've got the Wood Maiden, trust, so that's number 39, and this is really weird because this is a Czech folktale, and you've picked the Czech tarot deck, and with the Russian tarot deck that I was using as well, they got a Russian folktale from this deck, so that's really strange. But this is trust, so trusting yourself, and I think you're a very trusting and loving and loyal person, and you put a lot of emphasis on friendships and on relationships and on loyalty. But I also think that you can rely on yourself and you can depend on yourself, because you kind of won't let yourself down. Like you're someone who just pushes through difficult situations and is like, look, I can do this, I'm resilient, I can keep going. Yeah, Desert Passage, trust there's a divine plan. So I think you have faith, whether that's a specific religion or just, belief in the universe and things working out. Trust that there is a divine plan, even in the dark times. I think you always have this hope and this optimism, even if it's quite a small flame of hope. It's still there, little shred of hope doesn't leave you, and you just trust that things will eventually work out and that you will eventually know why this happened, or that you will realize a lesson or a moral from the situation. Okay, so this is a Dixit card. It's from a game. They're not oracle cards, so there's no guidebook or anything. But what I see here is, again, with the creativity, like bringing things into reality, manifestation, not just having the ideas, but being able to see it through. So maybe you are writers or musicians or dancers, anything creative, artists, just in general, painters, for example, and you have that determination to stick with your projects and see them through. And I'm also seeing like cycles from this as well, and transformation. So going through a lot of transformation in your life and kind of setting yourself free from endless cycles and becoming much more strong and empowered because of it. And of course, it's another air symbolism with it being a bird and these paper birds. So that's interesting. Flexible, number 19. So maybe you are physically flexible. As I said, you might be a dancer or a gymnast maybe. But I think this is just also about being adaptable to different situations and different settings as well. Like, I think you're someone who is able to feel comfortable in lots of different settings and scenarios. So maybe you come from a certain class or culture, but it's not the one that you currently live in. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe you are from like a, what can I say? Not different class or culture, but like maybe you're from a low income background, and the fact that you've worked hard has got you to like a higher position, and you kind of deal with bigwigs a lot of the time. And so it's like this sense of being flexible between different worlds and knowing what's appropriate in different settings. Then we've got вперед, без порядку. So forward to the disaster or to the disorder, like forward to this absolute nonsense. And this is 6 of diamonds, and there's no guidebook for this either. It's just a regular oracle deck with no guidebook. So I think you are fine about letting yourself go sometimes. I think you can laugh at yourself and at difficult situations in life. Maybe not when you're going through them, but I think you can kind of like look back and go, yeah, it's ridiculous that that happened, or that was quite funny, I suppose, even though it hurt me at the time. Like, you're able to laugh at things and just be a bit crazy sometimes and let loose. And also I think you're maybe someone who laughs rather than cry. Like, if something's getting on top of you and you're nervous maybe, or you're like feeling overwhelmed, you just end up kind of laughing at the situation and at yourself, which is a lot healthier, I think, in many ways than just breaking down and crying, because it helps you get through the situation, but you're still letting out some of that energy. So we've got joy. Spread seeds of joy like a wildflower, and no doubt you will revel in the results. So this beautiful, happy energy. I think you definitely light up a lot of people's lives. And we've got Du wierzy swym poczuciom, so another check card, and this says trust your feelings. So you have maybe quite a strong intuition, or maybe you get like quite a good like gut feeling about someone straight away. Like, you've been talking to them for a few minutes, you know whether they're a nice person or not. Maybe also you just are very connected to your feelings, to your emotions. Maybe you are a water sign, or you have that quite strongly in your chart, and so you're just a very emotional person, and you should learn to trust that more rather than letting other people push you around. So let's get your charms now, and then we'll do your dice, group 5. So just a quick warning, if you're wearing headphones or if you have the volume on loud, you might want to consider turning it down, because these are metal and they can be a bit loud when I shuffle them. So that's my disclaimer before I get started. So pile 5. Why are you such an amazing person? What makes you so amazing? Okay, what have we got? So we've got Scorpio there, so water sign coming through, and Capricorn as well. So you could have that in your chart. That could be your main sign. We've also got M as a letter, and I think that's our only initial, so maybe that is in your name or your surname. It could be a place name, a quality that you have, for example. I love this as well. Right in the center, you've got fearless. That's really nice. So you are a very brave person. You are able to kind of stand up for yourself and get through those tough times, because I can see the helmet as well, which is my symbol of someone who's been through it, been through a few battles in life, been through some really tough times. You've got another one as well, but that's the Black Knight. So there is like a mystery about you. Maybe you are just reluctant to reveal too much about yourself straight away, because you don't want to be vulnerable. You don't want people to take advantage of knowing too much about you, but there's like a mystery there. We've also got Father Christmas, so this winter charm, maybe that's when your birthday is, maybe that is when something important has happened for you. I have a few charms that kind of represent seasons, and we've got the Canada charm as well, but it's also my charm for strength and endurance, so don't worry if you're not Canadian. That might just be a double message for some people, but you're very strong and you have stamina, you know, you've got through some stuff. Also the Christmas tree as well, so again winter is significant here for some reason. Got the fire extinguisher, and that's about putting an end to a crisis situation, you know, being the person that puts out someone's crisis or is able to just overcome these difficult situations. We've got the starfish, which is a symbol of healing for me, because they grow back their limbs when they lose them. The skeleton, so skeletons in the closet, stuff from the past is still kind of keeping you in this limbo, and those skeletons need to be shaken out of the closet. They need to be put to rest once and for all so that you can move on, because we've got the leaf as well. There's something that needs to be released here, something that needs to be let go of. And you're being guided as well. You have a very strong spiritual team around you, and I get the reindeer, I think of someone who is guiding you, who is leading the way. And I love football, so this is my charm of hobbies. So there are some things that you're really passionate about, that you really love doing, and it's like not just how some people are like, yeah, okay, so I do this every now and then. It's like there's something that is really your passion, and I think it's something creative. Got the black obsidian ball as well. That's again about mystery, about things that are hidden from you or that you hide from other people. Got this dragonfly, which is a good luck charm. The baby boy as well, so maybe you have children or work with children, but this is just a symbol also of someone who's a bit childlike in their outlook, maybe a little bit immature sometimes, just because they want to, you know, laugh something off or have fun. Maybe you have quite a childlike sense of humor. And we've got the ballerina, and this is kind of like the Page of Pentacles for me, someone who is cautious and careful about planning their next move, who doesn't want to make any mistakes and, you know, have to undo things later on or look like an idiot. Got the waiting cat as well, so there's this sense of waiting, anticipating something. 13.1 with the arrow pointing to keep going. So you're halfway there towards something. So as I said, you might not be 100% where you want to be in life, but you're halfway there. So just keep going, keep doing what you're doing, and be proud of that. We've got the home and family as well. I think you're quite a family-oriented person, and there is an older male here who is important to you. Father figure, maybe grandfather or uncle, who's very important to you. We've got the change in mindset as well. So you are someone who doesn't really mind kind of debate, and maybe your views have changed over time, but this is something that I was kind of considering doing when I first got this card, because whenever I see the Triskelion, which is this symbol, I pull one of my homemade oracle cards for the Celtic sea god Manannán Mac Lir, and I thought maybe not, because it's quite a faint like image, and you know, but then we got this swirl, and this charm has the Triskelion on the key, and so this key is about finding solutions, fixing problems, as I said, like that fire extinguisher, finding solutions to situations. But because you've got so many repeated swirls and Triskelions, I'm going to pull you one of the cards. So you're lucky, pile number 5. This is a little bonus card for you. So I'll just show you what they look like. They're very low tech. I'm more of a writer than a drawer or any kind of like artist in that kind of sense. I'm better with words than with pictures. So let's see what message Manannán has for you. So Lord Manannán, what do you want to tell pile 5? Oh, this is lovely. So we've got Isle of Man, and the Isle of Man is the sacred island to Manannán. It's named after him because it's in the middle of the sea and he's the sea god, and also he is said to have loved that island so much that he would surround it with mist to protect it so that its enemies wouldn't know it was there, they wouldn't see it, so they wouldn't be able to invade it. And so this is saying that you are loved and protected by the divine, and that sometimes when you feel like things aren't working out in your life and that things aren't happening when you want them to, it's because you're being protected from something happening that would have been damaging, or from something happening too soon when you need to wait for the right time. So you are really watched over and protected, which is really, really beautiful. You are beloved of the spirit world and of the divine. So that's a beautiful message to get. I'm so pleased that you got that message. So I'm going to do your dice now, and what I do is I roll this 6-sided dice to see which set of dice we're going to use, because I have a few. Okay, and it's number 3. And those are my mystery dice. They've all got a different theme, so mystery. And we'll see how many of them we're going to roll, because I don't want to roll all of them if they don't all have a message for you. Oh, that flew. Okay, we are rolling all 9. Okay. Okay. So, what makes pile number 5 such an amazing person? What is so great about group 5? Okay, let's see what we've got. Okay, so we've got the calculator first of all, which is about someone working out what they want in their life. So maybe you are someone who didn't know straight away what you wanted to be, or maybe you thought you knew when you were younger and you tried that out, and then you ended up like changing careers drastically and had that big shift in your life just because you realized it wasn't for you. And so that is a really powerful thing that you've been able to kind of, you know, change that, but also it's about working out in general what you want. And maybe you also have a logical, mathematical brain as well, because that's coming out there, especially if you're an air sign, that's quite prevalent. Also the mad scientist there who's coming up with a plan. So an imaginative person. I think you're kind of a schemer in some way. Like people come to you, they're like, oh, I've had the worst day. And you're like, well, this is what we're going to do to cheer you up. Or, you know, they come to you with a problem and you're like, oh, this is how we're going to solve it. Like I've already got an idea. That's a really nice message. Also the balance here as well. Like we've got the temperance card, the night and day, the yin and the yang, masculine and feminine. Like beautiful balance within you. I don't think you are necessarily an unstable person at all. I think you've got that under control. You've got the nice balance, and maybe this is also talking about work-life balance. Got the rat as well, so an opportunistic person, like someone who can see the situation and analyze it and decide what's the best route to take. Maybe you're also born in the Chinese year of the rat for some of you. And I like this as well. The person who's kind of seeing something that's not, well, they're not sure if it's there. Maybe it's an invisible thing and they're kind of suspicious. I think you have the sight in many ways. I think you have quite a vibrant third eye chakra and you're able to see things that other people can't, or you get those kind of psychic downloads. Yeah, kind of here as well, all is not as it seems, with the mysterious stranger and then the eyes coming out of that storm drain. There's like, you see things about the world that other people overlook, or you see things that other people don't believe in or that they think aren't there. And also there's this mysteriousness here that was coming up with that Black Knight charm. Like there's something about you that is mysterious or that is only revealed when people are really close to you. And there's a DNA as well, like definitely family-oriented person. You really care about family, but also about found family. So not just the people that, you know, you're born into that family with who you can't choose, but the people that you found in this lifetime who've become your family through being kind and understanding you and being caring. And then we've got the wanted poster, or the missing person. So like you're someone who's really valued by other people genuinely, whether you believe it or not. Other people really care about you and they really see your worth even if you're not able to. So I think this is such a lovely message to get, group number 5, and I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. Please do let me know in the comments how it resonated, because I'm like super excited to hear what you have to say, and also if you've already watched White Rose's video, please let me know if it had similar themes to what I was saying here. And if you haven't watched it, then you absolutely need to, so I'm going to link it in the description box and in the timestamps in the comments section. But please do give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe if you enjoyed it. It would mean the world to me to welcome you into this growing family, and also just to support my channel in that way, because it does help the channel out and gets this video seen by more people and gets these messages out to more and more people. And if you think a friend would enjoy this video, then please do consider sharing it with them as well. If you're interested in any of the decks that I've used today, they are in the description box. The names are listed there, so you can go and check those out. There's also my Etsy page in there linked if you would like to book a private reading. And also if you want to help out the channel in any way, there's a load of links there as well, but please don't feel pressured to do that. I only want you to do that if you genuinely want to and if you really feel called to. So thank you so much for watching this and for spending your time here with me today. It's been an honor to give you these messages. Have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye. Take care.